So thank you for joining us for Cigar Talk. My name is Teresa Wessling. I'm a tobacconist here at Georgetown Tobacco, and I am really excited that for Women's History Month, we actually have a really special guest today, Mechelle Merkerson.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I fell in love with Mechelle. She has a show on all social media platforms called Cigars with M. And I found Mechelle on Instagram and absolutely fell in love with what she's doing because this woman knows her stuff.
Thank you.
So we'll get into your background and why it is that it's so educational and what your focus is on education. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Really grateful. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you started with Cigars with M, what your focus is, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, so my name is Mechelle, as she said, and I started my show in July of 2022. So we just recently celebrated 7 months.
Woohoo! Congratulations.
Thank you. And I honestly, I noticed that there was a need for education within the industry, and I spent 4 years prior to really focusing on trying to get my full understanding of the industry, everything from how to roll to all of the different sizes of cigars and so much more. I spent so much time researching and sitting with seasoned cigar smokers to get an understanding about the industry and what that means. And so then in July, I started my show, and here we are. The process it's been a long one, but I love it, and I really enjoy educating people about cigars.
Love it. So what are some of your favorite resources?
So I definitely use the Tobacco University book. I mean the Tobacco
Thank
Handbook.
you, Jorge Armenteros.
Yes, thank you so much. The Tobacconist University book is literally my handbook. I know that it's one of my favorite resources. I use it quite a bit. I use a lot of different articles that from Half Wheel. I use Cigar Aficionado. I use Tobacco Business. I mean, there's countless resources that I use, but I love the fact that I'm always learning. There's so much about cigars that I still don't know yet. And so I'm really just honored that I even have the like, for me, it's the honor to be able to teach people about cigars and be so comfortable with it because I'm always learning. And when I'm writing my scripts, I'm doing even more research. So I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's one of the things that we love about retail and the nature of this show and being behind the counter is really to try and share with you that experience of a customer being in the store. Because every day someone comes in who's never smoked a cigar before and kind of teaching them the basics from cutting and lighting. And we have other videos on that. And Mechelle does the same thing with her show. It's an amazing way to just kind of bring what we've become so passionate about to anyone. Right? And just real quickly, since you mentioned Tobacconist University, you may not know that there is also a consumer certification that you can get. So most of us who work at Georgetown Tobacco have our certified retail tobacconist certification from Tobacconist University. There's also a consumer one.
Yes.
And so you can do that online, or you can buy Jorge's book, Tobacconist University, from Amazon. It really is a great resource that all of us have loved.
Yes, it is. It is for sure. It is definitely the handbook to use. Everything from cigars, how to it even talks about pipes. There's pairings resources in there as well. I use it so much. I have so many highlights and pen marks, and it's definitely one of my favorite resources.
So you've mentioned, Mechelle, you're a researcher by nature.
Yes.
And as your profession as well. So how did you actually get into cigar smoking to start with?
So that's a funny story. So my dad and my uncle have been smoking cigars all my life. And on my 23rd birthday, I asked my dad, Dad, I really want to learn how to smoke cigars. And he said, are you sure? And I was like, yes, Daddy, I'm sure. I really want to learn about cigars. And so he took me into a local cigar shop in Mobile, Alabama, where I lived at the time. And he walked me through the entire humidor, and he let the tobacconist talk to me as well. And that was it. I smoked my very first cigar, Tatiana Groovy Blue. And then that was, I mean, for me, I was sold.
Yeah.
From there, I expanded my palate to now, I smoke primarily full body cigars. I'm not biased to any cigar, so I definitely will try it once. And if I love it, then I'll try it again.
Yeah.
But right now my palate is more full body. So it's interesting because I started flavored and then I expanded to full body.
Yeah, as a lot of people do. Unfortunately, in DC now, there's a ban on flavored tobacco, so we can't sell that Tatiana Groovy Blue anymore.
It's so sad.
But we'll talk about activism and how you can get involved in the regulation and taxation definitely in another show, because that's a huge topic.
Yes, it
in
is.
and of itself. But today we're smoking the Davidoff Aniversario #3. And I chose this cigar because this is my go-to special occasion cigar. And it really is a special occasion to me to have Mechelle here with us today.
Thank you.
Celebrating Women's History Month.
Yes.
And so Davidoff, you've got, a beautiful Connecticut shade wrapper grown in Ecuador, Dominican binder and fillers. But the reason that this is my go-to and why Davidoff is one of the blends that I really rely on when somebody is looking for an amazing experience is because of consistency.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, and the reason they have that consistency is because of the process, literally from seed to cigar.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually talking now about the white label difference and what that means. And so if you think about a tobacco plant has about 225,000 seeds that one plant produces.
Right.
Davidoff will sow or replant less than 10% of those 225,000 seeds. They only take the best of the best. Their rollers have to have 10 years of experience before they can roll a white label cigar. Mm-hmm. And then the blending, obviously, with years with Henke Kellner and Eladio Diaz, incredible blends. And they have not just mild cigars, medium body, full body. They really have blends that speak to every palate. But this, every time you cut it, light it, guaranteed to have an amazing draw.
Yes.
Super smooth. And so what do you think?
So honestly, this is my very first time trying this Davidoff cigar, and I like it a lot. One of the biggest things that I like about this cigar is that when I first lit it, it was such a smooth, like light cedar taste in the beginning, and I'm a cedar lover. And so I really just enjoyed the fact that it was very light and smooth. And then as I started to get, now I'm in the second third of the cigar, I'm starting to get more of the smoky and a hint of like cinnamon, and it's just blending very well. You can tell that it's quality that you're smoking, and you also can understand from just looking at how it's rolled. There's no gaps in the wrapper, and it's a very good strong leaf.
Yeah, beautiful. So Cigars with M,
yes,
all social media platforms. What's next for you? I know you're building the brand. What's next?
So right now, my major thing is to just really collaborate with a lot of cigar companies to just kind of enhance that educational piece that they have. I also want to do some factory tours. So that's on my list of things to do. And just really continue to keep consistently putting out episodes about cigar education and continuing to partner with companies as well. I think for me, I like the fact that with my show, it's inspiring people to do more research. I've heard that so many times, and I'm just so grateful because honestly, like if you are having a show that entices people to do more research, that means that more people are being educated about cigars, and they're not going into smoking a cigar being intimidated, or they're not going into smoking a cigar feeling like they don't know anything. Yep. They are able to go into a shop and feel comfortable. Hey, I know a little bit about cigars, and I'm willing to learn more if you can teach me. So I'm really grateful for that. I also, at some point, want to write a book. So that is on my list of things. I'm not exactly sure on when the date is, but it's definitely in the works for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That to I have to do my homework, but to my knowledge, that would be the first book written by a woman in the cigar industry.
Wow, that would be big.
I think Mary Dunhill wrote a book with Dunhill Pipes and the family, but I don't think there's been one by a woman.
Wow. I would love to be the
Okay.
first.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Women in the industry. I know it's probably a little shocking maybe for some people to see two women tobacconists talking about cigars and really understanding, what it is that we're talking about, but also both knowing that we still have a lot to learn. That's one of the
Yes.
fun things about this is you can never know it all. You
Right.
really can't. Have you had any particular challenges or opportunities you think because of being a woman in the industry?
Yeah, I think for me, honestly, one of the challenges is making sure that I am staying in my lane. So I've created this lane of focusing on cigar education and really focusing on trying to give people consistent content that is geared around just cigars. And so I find myself having to really just kind of look at, what's the industry doing as a whole and what's trending and things of that sort, but still kind of staying in that lane. There are some things that, some women do, and that's wonderful, but some things I just can't do. And so,
Okay.
because I realize that it's, having to remind myself, okay, this might look cool, but you can't do that. So we're gonna stay in this lane. Also too, I find as a challenge is just trying to find more topics.
Okay.
So it's a lot of research that is done on the back end. So for anybody that doesn't know, I write my own script. So everything that you hear come out of my mouth is me have done hours of research. I mean hours, countless of staying up and doing research and really looking deep into many sources, not just one, and making sure that I'm giving you an unbiased perspective and really giving you what the facts are. And so being able to find topics, sometimes that can be difficult because there's so much to learn, but there's also so many things that maybe require a little bit more of experience with that particular topic before actually speaking on it.
Yep.
So I'm learning to just really come up with topics that I feel are comfortable with where I'm at and don't put me in a space where I'm going to be judge too much.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I think I started in this business when I was 19. And I definitely met with a fair amount of doubt. If I went to go cut someone's cigar, do you know what you're doing? And at this point, I don't find that so much anymore, probably just because I'm older. I think I've got the maturity now that people know and trust that I know what I'm doing when I'm going to cut your cigar for you. I don't run into that so much anymore. But I was definitely supported by and mentored by some amazing people in the industry for whom it did not matter if I was a woman or a man. I was someone who was interested in and passionate about cigars. And nothing drives connection like a handmade premium cigar.
Right.
Nothing. It brings everybody together.
Right. And for me, I think with cigars, it just puts everybody on a level playing field.
Yep.
And no matter if you're a woman or if you're a man or you're young or you're old, you pull a cigar out, it's a conversational piece and everybody is just on the same page.
Yep.
It's one of the industries that I think everybody is on a level playing field, and not many industries you can be that way.
Yep.
It's I love it.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons that I'm really passionate about it too. And can't imagine myself doing anything else at this point in my career.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mechelle, thank you.
Thank you
so much for being here.
I really
want to see the book.
Yes, yes.
Right? So I know that's going to take some time, but in the meantime, Cigars with M, all social media platforms, here too on YouTube. Please, if you like, subscribe, share us with your friends. Really appreciate your time and look forward to the next episode of Cigar Talk. Mechelle, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.